Yeah, first half I can't imagine went the way you hoped it would. Second half probably went about as well as you could have hoped. Was there any big tactical change, or was that just sort of a mindset change?
Tactical change came in the 30th minute when we switched Jordan and Albert. That was a tactical change that gave us a little bit of hope, even though we were down 1-0. And then an attitude adjustment, I would call it that, Jeremiah, in the second half.
Maz, go ahead.
Yeah, Brian, you always talk about the resiliency and the courage of your team. What can you say about that today? The emotions of this game from, you had to change your lineup, the adversity of going down, the tactical change, and then one of your players comes on, he gets hit, and just all those emotions, your team seemed like they were able to bottle that up and come away with the point in this game.
Well, we bottled it up, Maz, and then could have won it at the death. I mean, the goalmouth scramble was one thing. I mean, that you could have ricocheted off anybody's, kind of like Austin. But Jordan at the death there, he's too nice of a kid. Tries to play the ball over to Nuhu, which maybe wasn't the wrong play, but goalkeeper was out of position. If Jordan shoots that, I bet he scores. They walk away with 3. The team itself, Maz, to answer your question directly, I mean, look, they knew they didn't play well at halftime. They understood that. It's an emotional group, but it's also a very level-headed, savvy group. And you get that from, okay, we talk about Steph Fry, we talk about Yaimar, you talk about Nico. I think Raul was better until, the first 15 minutes. JP, Albert, we got a bunch of senior players that are level-headed. But you got to give the kid Reed some credit for, look, I'm not faulting him for the goal. But, it was his first run out, left back. And the kid comes out in the second half. And the assist he does, gets around the corner, able to pick his head up. I mean, give that kid some credit for being level-headed.
Again, a reminder, if you'd like to ask a question, please use the hand raise function in Zoom. Jada Evans, why don't you go ahead and ask your question?
Thanks. I wanted to ask about Christian, him being able to be back out there. It seemed like he provided some play that you haven't had since he's been gone, but also then he does take a hit though. So is there any concern from that? And what was his reaction to his first time since suffering the concussion?
He was fine, Jada. I'll let everybody know the doctors have checked him out. It was more of a slap, kind of like a random arm. I didn't see maybe you guys have seen the TV replay, but he's fine. And you know what? If you think about it, that might be the best thing for him to really, get back with it, knowing that he can, play and there's physical contact in our sport and he can keep going. So maybe that wasn't the worst thing in the world. I know it scared me, probably scared his mom and dad and everybody else, Sienna and stuff like that. But he persevered and he gave us aggression. He gave us power. He gives us speed. He gives us thinking. So yeah, it was great to have him back.
All right, we'll circle back for some follow-ups. Jeremiah, go ahead.
Yeah, just getting a point in this game. I'm sure you would have liked to have had all 3, but does it feel like if last week was 2 points dropped, does this feel like a point gained?
No, because we felt like in the second half we played much better. Plus Dallas was depleted. Plus the goal. If you watch the goal that we gave up, I mean, look, we didn't play well in the first half. I can raise my hand. Maybe it's the lineup. I should have put Jordan on the left in the beginning. I can raise my hand. I think the players did what they could. But the fact of the matter is that on that play, we're pressing higher up the field because we're not afraid to press in the right moments. And if Yaimar can just head that ball to either JP or Albert, then that play kind of goes away. And then you couple that with, okay, they're in transition. Alex is caught higher up the field. Jackson just ball gets on the outside of him, Reed sliding across, and actually Reed tackles the ball, or the ball hits Reed and kind of bounces over Steph's arm. The guy didn't hit it that cleanly. I think Steph makes that save if it doesn't bounce over his arm. So it was one mistake in the first half, even though we didn't play well, Jeremiah, that put us down. So, you know, as always, a tie for us is not, you know, it's always 2 points dropped.
I see one hand left, so last call for any questions if anybody would like to ask any. But Masvita, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, Brian, you said you made one tactical change at the 30-minute mark. Fair enough. But was there some intentionality to pinch in your midfield so that your wingbacks could push up in the second half? Was anything, or did that just happen organically?
Alex on the right-hand side is always supposed to be the widest, highest guy on the field. Reed plays the position a little differently than Nuhu. So just based on his characteristics, his player profile, he was a little higher up the field. So no, it was not any dramatic tactical changes. What we had prepared the team for, Maz, was to accentuate, or, you know, when Reed did go forward, because we knew he has that in him, that we would again defend in a box for transition. Normally it's Nuhu, Jackson, Yaimar, plus one of the holding midfielders, JP or Obed, for 4 players. We said if Reed goes, then it has to be Jackson, Yaimar, Obed, and JP kind of covering. So we always kept 4 back in order to prevent transition moments.
All right, looks like we have a last couple of hands for follow-ups. Jada, go ahead.
Thanks. I just wanted to ask a little bit about that last play with Jordan. Is that something that's going to gnaw at you, that he didn't take the shot, or where?
No,
how? Yeah, go ahead.
It's going to gnaw on him.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, the kid put it in. Look, I can't complain about Jordan's effort in that game. I mean, you saw him. He played really well. You know, we moved him around a couple different positions, and he was still effective late into the game. And we've already talked about it. If he had to do it over again, he probably would have shot. He gets it. But that's the life of a striker.
Jeremiah, why don't you close us out?
Yeah, I just wanted to give you a chance to talk a little bit about Reed's defensive effort. It seemed, however you fall on the goal, it seemed outside of that he was, you know, where you wanted him to be, and seemed pretty solid, especially playing a position he's not been asked to play too much.
Reed has made big strides this year. You know, he's a very talented kid. You know, played well on the right a couple games back, showed some versatility that he could play on the left and still do the same job, still be effective. You know, his left foot's pretty good. So, you know, that's always handy to have one player that can, you know, deputize or play on both sides of the field if needed. So he's really taken some big steps forward this year, Jeremiah. And it's credit to him. It's credit to Andy, because Andy does a lot with him. They're always out, last one off the field. So, you know, good for Reed.